Want to see something fun? Yeah, you do. Well, head on over to google.com. This is a real thing that's happening right now. Go to google.com, even if you don't use Google browsers normally. Open it up in a incognito inside of a cube inside of a VM. However you want to do it to avoid Google tracking you like they do. Go to google.com and search for my domain name, lunduke.com. The top result is clearly lunduke.com. Interestingly, many people go to URLs for websites by Google searching the URL for the website and then clicking the link that Google returns them, which is a crazy thing to me, but a lot of people do this. So someone pointed this out to me early last week. If you do this for my website and you go ahead and click it, you get a very interesting result. Normally, you'd think, well, I'll probably get something like this. This is my website, right? You go to lunduke.com and you get my website. It's a very simple website. It has no JavaScript, no redirects, no ads, nothing. There's literally zero tracking, JavaScript, anything on them. It is static HTML. It renders fairly well in text-only web browsers with all of the content in place. But if you use it from google.com and you click the link, you get this: an online pharmacy specifically selling generic Viagra. That's right. Now, and if you look up at the URL, it will still show that you're at lunduke.com. It's absolutely, truly fascinating. And you're like, well, what's going on here? If you go back to google.com and you search for lunduke.com again, and you say, do a right click on it and open up in a new window, it'll still be that generic pharmacy Viagra selling website and not lunduke.com. What's going on here? Now, if you simply copy the URL and open it yourself, it loads the right website, like this one right here, known as lunduke.com. If you go over to DuckDuckGo, DuckDuckGo is a different web browser from Google, and you do the same exact thing. You go to lunduke.com, you search for it, you click on the lunduke.com link. What happens? Well, let's click it. Oh my gosh, it's lunduke.com, just like you would expect. In fact, no other search engine exhibits this functionality. It is only Google that does this. And there could be a wide variety of reasons why this is happening. The interesting thing to me is I was looking around at it. And so my website does not use HTTPS, right? In theory, this could be a sort of a man-in-the-middle attack, right? So someone could be man-in-the-middling and intercepting any request that's going out to http://lunduke.com and returning this online pharmacy website. In order for that to be the case, however, this would have to be impacting the entire internet. Everyone on the internet is impacted by this, as far as I can tell. I've received reports about this from multiple countries around the globe now. It appears like this might have something to do with Google's AMP, Google's accelerated mobile pages, where they're actually grabbing lunduke.com and then feeding the users lunduke.com, and except it's not lunduke.com. Google also has a number of crazy features. In fact, if you view the source for just the search results page, well, that's my website. Where's the search results? There it is. You get this crazy page. I don't know if you've ever looked at the source code for a web page for a Google search result. It is insane. It is the biggest block of absolutely insane code you'll ever see. Simple web page, right? It should be really simple HTML. I mean, even if they're using some JavaScript for some of the menus and whatnot, it shouldn't be that complicated, because that would be ridiculous. However, let's just scroll down for a while. None of this, by the way, none of what you are seeing is search results, at least not in any decipherable way. It is insanity, including random number generators galore. It is absolutely insane. I can't even begin to tell you. Let's go to lunduke.com. That's the search results. This is not search results yet. Not search results yet. Not search results yet. That's still not search results yet. This is still just showing stuff. No, we're still not fully into search results yet. It shows a lot of this. There we go. Now we're getting into some search results. This gets us, how far down the page? Roughly halfway down this massive page. page, you start getting into search results. And it when it sends you off, and you click on a lunduke.com link, it's not sending you to a lunduke.com link. What it's sending you to is a lunduke.com accelerated mobile page link with a series of additional pings that Google sends off to their own servers, which then in turn not redirect you, just kind of overlay an online pharmacy website. This is all using Google's technologies. No other search engine does this. Typing the URL in directly does it. It's absolutely just insane. This is just insanity. I just wanted to point this out. It's really not that big of a deal because honestly, I don't really use Google. And you know what? I've tracked where my traffic comes from since the dawn of time. And very little, if any, of my traffic comes from Google searches. I know that seems crazy because I know a lot of people swear by search engine optimization and get a lot of traffic from Google searches and whatnot, but I don't. I maybe it's because that all of you are super nerdy and you don't just sit around and search for things in Google. You actually just go to the websites, or maybe you use better search engines like DuckDuckGo, which seriously, let's just click on that because that's what you should be using. Or there's a number of other ones. There's Startpage. There's a bunch of great search engines out there. Don't use google.com. Unless, of course, you want to go to a generic, very, very sketchy looking pharmacy. Now, the fascinating thing here to me is this. This was reported to me early last week. I reported it to Google. I know a couple dozen other people also reported it to Google. Google knows about this issue. And it's still there, right? In order for this to be the case, because it can't be a man-in-the-middle attack outside of Google unless it's impacting maybe, I don't know, every DNS server on the planet. So either A, every DNS server on the planet is currently under attack, specifically to make sure that when they go to lunduke.com, they go to an online pharmacy, or Google's own servers are intentionally serving up a generic, weird, sketchy, kind of looks like a scam online pharmacy website instead of lunduke.com. I'm not really sure which one seems more likely because both seem absolutely insane to me, but that is the situation we are in right now. I really don't care. If you want to go to Google and send them feedback, like to say, hey, maybe you guys should fix your servers, my inclination is either someone at Google really doesn't like Lunduke, which is entirely possible, or Google's been hacked, which is also entirely possible. They are kind of the biggest target for hacking on the planet, and everyone gets hacked. That's just how that works. Not exactly upset about it because, again, I get almost no traffic from Google search engine results anyway. People find out about me through word of mouth or articles or whatnot. That's how people find out about me. And clicking on my URL from any other website on this entire planet Earth and possibly in the entire known universe will result on you going to lunduke.com, but not from Google search. Anyway, I thought that was highly humorous. You could say, well, Brian, why don't you add, HTTPS to your website? Why don't you add SSL encryption to your website? And I've talked about this in the past. It's mostly because I like to have support for older non-HTTPS browsers. I like to keep old systems working well. And my website has literally like no functionality on it, well, really whatsoever. If you go to my website, that's not even a joke. It literally is just a static web page. It's just this. It's the most static web page ever. And in theory, if I added HTTPS, it might do away with this. However, if it's Google's accelerated mobile pages or one of their other strange services that they provide to search results that's causing the problem, HTTPS actually wouldn't resolve this at all. It simply would not. So that wouldn't resolve this problem. It might resolve similar problems, such as every DNS server on the planet being hacked in a man-in-the-middle attack, but it wouldn't actually resolve this problem. So anyway, it's fascinating. It's fun. I don't know really what to make of it, except Google, you know about this. And at this point, it would be an easy fix to make. So that means that you intentionally want people going to a really sketchy pharmacy website. I don't know know why. You guys are weird. Anyway, I want to take this moment. A lot of you are off on holidays right now. It's December 24th as I sit here and record this. And for those of you celebrating the holidays, I wish you a very happiest and joyous Christmas. It's a beautiful day here in Oregon, in the USA. It is quite nice morning here, and I am just giggling about this to myself. If you go over to my website, I just wanted to point a few things out to all of you. Recently, in fact, over the weekend, I've made it so that you can grab the MP3 RSS feed for this show for free for everybody. That used to be a thing that was just for the patrons. However, in November, we had over 1 million people watch, or 1 million views, not 1 million people, 1 million views of my shows. It was the first 1 million view month I've ever had. I've had videos that have gone over 1 million views, but it was always over the course of like a couple of months, right? But I've never had 1 million views in 1 month. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. That's awesome that things are growing that fast. And so I thought, you know what, let's capitalize on this. And I've gotten requests for this, including from a number of my Patreon supporters to make the MP3 RSS feed public. So I'm doing it right now. If you go to lunduke.com, well, if you go directly to lunduke.com, not via Google search, you get an MP3 RSS feed. It's over here on the left-hand side. There's a number of different ways you can get the show, but you can grab that there. We've got a brand new server up and rocking, so it should be able to handle the load fairly well. If you'd like an RSS feed for the MP4 files, for the video files, that's still kind of a Patreon-only thing, at least for the time being. However, we've also added library. So lbry.io is it's a kind of a decentralized video sharing platform. And I've been over there for a while, but we've had some technical issues with the channel over there. Those have all been resolved. And now you can actually go to an fully official Lunduke LBRY channel to grab my videos that way. So I've got that information all up on the website. Also, my BBS is back online, which is something that is of interest to like 12 of you. However, those 12 of you who are interested are very interested in this. So if you go to lunduke.com, there's information about it, but you can telnet into it at bbs.lunduke.com. Also, I've got a phone line coming in. Those of you who have been longtime listeners know that I've been trying to get some additional copper, actual plain old telephone service phone lines in here so I can have dial-in lines for my BBS. Yeah, old school, like 56K analog modem dial-in lines for like 2 years now. I've been fighting with the telecom companies around here who are supposed to provide that service, but have literally not been able to figure out how. Like nobody in the entire town I live in has them anymore. And but I want them. They finally agreed. Yeah, they legally are obligated to provide this because voice over IP just doesn't work for modem dial-ups. And voice over IP also doesn't work for situations where you have long-term power outages and whatnot. And so I finally got them to agree. So in early January, they're going to be installing new phone lines in here, and we're going to have at least one 56K dial-up line. Now, this is ridiculous. What I'm about to say is preposterous and silly, but tons of fun. I'm adding the MP3 versions of this show to the BBS, which means that you soon will be able to get this podcast not using the internet. You will be able to use an old modem You could use an old modem running Windows 3.11, Windows for Workgroups, or DOS if you want. Dial up my line here and download the MP3 version of this episode or any of the other shows. Never touch the internet. How cool is that? Random, perhaps pointless. Will some of you do it? I am confident that many of you will at least do it once just to say you did it. I do not know if any of you will regularly grab the show that way. I think it's highly unlikely, but I think that's just super cool that we can now have this podcast entirely free from the internet. Part of me kind of wants to have like little like thumb drive drop spots around the city where people can like trade it around, sort of like In the old days, some of you might remember Mystery Science Theater 3000, pre-internet video sharing days. They used to talk about distributing the tapes, right? People used to record that show on VHS tapes and pass them around to friends and make copies. And the show creators like encouraged people to do it to help get the word out about the show and circumvent the networks completely. Well, this is kind of the same thing, except we're circumventing the internet completely. Just random, just totally random. Anyway, also, some of you have been a little upset about some of the things happening at Patreon. I'm not going to get into that here because there's enough people online talking about that, and that's going to be talked about a lot for some time. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. You can find information about it on the internet galore. However, many of you have asked for alternatives to Patreon, so I'm starting to add those in. If you go to lunduke.com, again, not searching for it via Google. That's an online pharmacy. If you go to it any other way on the entire earth except for that, you can go there, and on the right hand side of the page, I've added a kind of a how to support the show section. The Patreon option is there. It's still there. It's great. There's nearly 1,000 of you that are there. However, quite a few have decided to leave the platform, and God bless you guys. Those of you who have decided to leave. I've lost probably about 60 or 70 Patreon subscribers over the last week alone, and every single one of you have left me a note. They have this little thing called an exit survey on Patreon where you can leave a note to the content creator and say why you're leaving. And all of you have been leaving me these notes that's like, hey, Lunduke, love the show. I don't want to use Patreon anymore. I don't like what Patreon's doing. Give me another way to contribute. So I thank you for the kind words, and thank you for wanting to support the show. It means the world. I've added a PayPal option, which I know doesn't solve the problem for a lot of you. I'm working on adding a few more options as well as time goes on, as well as a couple of new perks that hopefully people will all be able to share and use regardless of which option they use to support the show. But it does mean the world. So if you do want to support the show, every dollar, every penny helps. And one of the new perks I've added is the ability to have unlimited access to the BBS. The BBS is back up. You can get to it via Telnet, and everyone gets a free account. You just log in and you get 2 hours of access time, which is really more than most people would ever need on a BBS, especially nowadays. However, if you want to be on that BBS 24/7, literally 24 hours a day on it, if you become a Patreon subscriber or contribute via PayPal or any of the future ways I add, and then you send me a message and say, hey, here's my contribution, and here's my username on the BBS, I'll give you 24 hours a day of access. So literally you can just sit on the BBS all day long, downloading MP3 versions of this show, playing Trade Wars or Legend of the Red Dragon or whatever old BBS games you want to play. Anyway, this episode of the Lunduke Show, this very almost pointless episode, but it amused me greatly, episode of the Lunduke Show, is brought to you in part by Purism, who is having a truly tubular holiday sale going on right now. They call it It's a Secure Life, where if you buy one of their Librem keys, one of their USB security keys, you can get 15% off. I believe it's 15% off or more with a bundle with like their Librem 15 laptop. You can also add in like their Librem 5 smartphone, those sorts of phones, those sorts of things, which is just fantastic because we're talking about free software, GNU plus or / or however you want to say it, Linux, loaded up on hardware that respects your privacy, that respects your security. It's absolutely glorious. Go over to Purism's website, puri.sm. Sale goes on until January 6th. So you got a little bit of time to do that, but highly recommended. And Lulzbot, makers of truly awesome 3D printers who apparently have a cookie policy. Truly, truly fantastic 3D printers. Head over to lulzbot.com. Here, let's bring up a picture of those printers because they're just glorious. Yeah! Look at the Lulzbot Mini. They're just the cutest little 3D printers on the planet. Plus, they support free software. They even had a sale where they supported the Free Software Foundation with proceeds from the sale. You can't really beat that. Lulzbot.com and Pogo Linux. Longtime supporter of this show. They're great people. And they make some of the most glorious servers and workstations on the planet. Now, I'm not talking about servers like you go to a hosting company and say, I would like a VPS, please. And, oh, that's where I'll host my domain. No. I'm talking about rack servers and big tower servers, physical hardware that you can put in your data center or your closet or just on top of your desk where it belongs. How cool would it be to use like a 4U rack mount server as your desktop? Get one of those big, look at those servers from Pogo. Oh, they've got those twin servers, which are like a 1U server that's divided in half, and each one is its own dedicated server, right? In a single 1U unit. Get one of those, put it on your desk, and have that be your desktop. I don't know why, but it sounds awesome. Go to pogolinux.com for all the details on that. All right. That's it for this ridiculous episode. That's all I got. I hope all of you are having a fantastic holiday. I'm slowly recovering from a cold here. I've been out for the better part of the last week, trying to get my voice back in order. You can probably hear a little bit. I'm a little raspy, a little hoarse still, but I'm slowly coming there. Oh, check it out. Just while we're speaking of holiday stuff, stay right there. Don't go away. Check out these guys. These are cool. These are little mycades. This is what I got for some of my holiday presents. I got these little bad boys. This is how much my wife knows and loves me. These little guys. I absolutely love these little mini arcade games. I got Pac-Man, Galaga, and Dig Dug back there. 3 of my favorite games. They're truly fantastic. Anyway, I just had to show off. Those are fun. They're really not that bad a price either, which is an extra good. Anyway. Not a sponsored thing. I just think those are cool, and my wife's really nice, so I wanted to talk about it. All right, everybody, go off. Go have a fun time. Subscribe to the RSS feed for the MP3s. Grab it, enjoy it, spread the word, spread the love, spread the free software, and I'll see you guys later.